a professional diplomat. I spent 39 years in the Foreign Service. I do not, as a matter of policy, react to goings on in the domestic legislature of other countries. To the extent that anybody has to react to it, I think my foreign minister has already spoken to the senator, and don't think I need to comment any further.
So what is your expectation with regards to what happens next, though? Because India imports 40% of Russian crude
Well, let me tell you
supply.
something. We're a 7,000-year-old civilization. We're a 75-year-old country. And on the energy front, in the last 4 or 5 years that I've been around, under the very mature and decisive leadership of the Prime Minister, we've navigated all kinds of challenges. We used to buy energy from 27 countries in the world. Today, we are buying energy from 40 countries in the world. There was a time when the developments that you are referring to, we are talking about February 2022. A lot of the world, I went to Davos and I was told, X and Y and Z should not be buying energy from Russia. And what was the thing? Russia used to produce a fair amount of energy, and I asked a very simple question, and then I was told by my friends, including from the source from which you are referring to, please buy, but buy cheap Russian this thing. So they placed a price cap. So energy from Russia was not sanctioned at that point. Energy coming through a pipeline to Hungary was not sanctioned. Going through a pipeline to the Far East, Japan, was not sanctioned. So they wanted to put a price cap on the rest of it. And I was not unhappy buying within the price cap. So I don't think that's something that we have navigated the global and energy challenges, and I'm confident that going forward we'll be able to do so again. And as I said, as a trained diplomat, I don't respond to hypothetical situations on what might be.
Minister, I think you'll agree it's not a hypothetical. The allegation is that India is funding Putin's war machine.
Well, I don't think I would put it like that. There's no allegation per se.
We buy 40% of their oil.
Well, 1 minute. We buy 38% from there. We buy 30% from other places. You know something? You know how much oil we buy from the United States?
Well, how is that not funding the war machine?
$15 billion of energy we bought from the United States last year.
How is that not funding? How is that not funding the war machine?
Let me first.
40%.
1 minute. It used to be less than 0.2%, and we are, as I said, we will buy from wherever we can. Our commitment is to the Indian consumer, and if there is an international agreement at any point of time that a particular kind of sale should or should not take place. So far, the American position was and has been that you should buy Russian oil within a price cap. And we've been buying within a price cap. So beyond that, I don't think we need to go, because that is the situation. By the way, if people or countries had stopped buying at that stage, the price of oil would have gone up to $130 a barrel. That was the situation in which we were advised, including by our friends in the United States, to please buy Russian oil, but within the price cap. So I think your line of questioning, if I may point out to you, does not seem to be taking that very crucial factor into consideration. So in effect, by buying from Russia, we were helping the global economy stable prices, and therefore we contributed to global stability in oil prices.
In previous interviews, you and I have spoken about how your remit, your focus is on the Indian people. So help me understand, what is the most appropriate price of oil for India's benefit, not just from the Indian consumer's perspective, but also for the investment perspective as well, which is critical too?
Look, my friend, India is today one of the largest consumers of energy. It is probably the third largest consumer. More important, our consumption of oil is growing, or energy is growing up 3 times the global average. Also, we are one of the biggest refiners in the world. We have a refining capacity of 320 million metric tons per annum. It is going to go up to 400 million metric tons per annum or even more. So we are one of the biggest consumers, one of the biggest refiners. We are also a reasonably big producer. I have a company whose CMD is accompanying me here. Whenever the price of oil falls, he starts looking unhappy because he is a producer and exporter. But overall, I can tell you, as an Indian minister, I welcome including statements by the President of the United States, who wants more and more and more energy coming onto the global market. We are happy with that because we think when global energy is available in abundant supply, it stops inflation, it controls inflation, and for countries like India, which are facing the trilemma of availability, we have never allowed any shortages to come in. Affordability, we have one of the lowest energy prices in the world. Plus, we take that energy to the economically weaker sections of our society. We provide clean cooking gas to our citizens, something like 100 million people at something like 8 cents in a day. And to those who are not beneficiaries of the scheme, for about 15 cents a day. So for us, global oil prices at the current levels, look, I'm not a oil trader. So what would be a good price? Because this is a game in which what is a good price for me may not be a good price for you. Now, since you come from the United States, somebody telling me this morning, if oil prices go anything below, let's say, the current levels, you will have a situation in which shale doesn't remain viable. That's not for me to judge. I personally believe that we have today a happy situation that more and more oil is coming onto the global market. Why? From OPEC. They are restoring some of their former cuts. From the Western Hemisphere, from the United States, you were producing 13 million barrels a day. You're adding another 1.6 million barrels of oil to the 13 million you're producing. I'll give you an example of a country like Brazil. It used to produce 3 million barrels a day. They're adding another 140,000. I didn't even mention Guyana. I didn't mention Canada. I mentioned others. So what would be a good price? I'm sorry to give you a long-winded answer. There is no such thing as a good price. I would like to see energy markets, including of crude oil and gas. Gas, there's enough coming on the market. Gas, I think prices will come down. But I think prices have to be stable and predictable so that it is worth the while of the global consumer, as also not undermining the investment in the sector. Because much as I'm wedded to energy transition, I think transition by definition means you have to survive from the present to the point of transition.